Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into shopping in English.
Ooh, fun.
It's going to be great. Whether you're, getting ready for a trip abroad or just want to brush up on your language skills, we've got this really cool guide we're looking at that breaks down all kinds of practical scenarios.
Yeah.
Like browsing without feeling pressured,
Right.
or scoring a deal with some smart bargaining,
Ooh, yeah.
or even returning stuff like a pro.
I love this guide.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting. I mean, it goes way beyond, just like giving you basic phrases.
Right.
It really dives into like the psychology of shopping interactions
Oh, wow.
from both sides, like the customer and the salesperson.
So it's not just about what to say,
Right.
but also about understanding kind of like the whole game.
Exactly. Yeah, like all those unspoken dynamics.
That makes sense.
Like, for example, you know how salespeople always use these tactics to like influence your decision?
Oh, yeah.
Like, have you ever noticed how they'll say,
Oh, my God.
this is the last one in your size?
All the time. Every time I fall for it. Every time.
Yeah.
But I guess now that I know it's like a tactic,
Right.
I can maybe resist a little better.
Totally. And that's really what this whole deep dive is about.
Okay.
It's about giving you the knowledge and the confidence to handle all these situations.
Awesome. I'm ready.
Me too.
All right. So let's jump into a specific scenario.
Okay.
One that I know a lot of people get nervous about is like, you walk into a store and you immediately feel this pressure to buy something.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're in a foreign country.
Right, and maybe you're not so confident with the language.
Exactly, and the guide talks about this a lot.
Okay.
And it gives you these really clever phrases so you can browse freely without that pressure.
I love that.
So instead of that, standard, I'm just looking, thank you,
Right.
it suggests saying things like, I'm browsing for ideas.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, or I'm just admiring your selection.
That's nice.
Sounds more engaged.
It does. It does.
Yeah, and you're not like avoiding the salesperson.
Right.
But the guide also says it's okay to be direct too.
Okay.
Especially if you're in a hurry. You should say, I only have a few minutes, so I'll let you know if I need help.
Oh, that's perfect. Sets boundaries, but it's still polite.
Exactly.
I think for me personally, my biggest struggle is like finding the right size or color.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I just can't even explain what I need.
I know, and the guide actually has a whole section on this.
Oh, good.
And it breaks down all these different ways to ask for specific sizes and colors.
Awesome.
So instead of just saying, do you have this in a larger size?
Right.
You could say something like, do you stock this in a size up?
Okay.
Or would a larger size be available in a different style?
Those are so much better.
Right.
So much more elegant.
And the guide reminds us that it's totally okay to ask for clarification.
Oh, definitely.
Like if you don't understand something, you can say, could you repeat that, please? Or, I'm not sure I understand. Could you explain it differently?
Those are essential. It's so easy to get flustered and just like nod along, even if you're lost.
Totally. And that brings us to another like really important part of shopping in English.
What's that?
Bargaining.
Ooh, bargaining.
Yeah, it's like an art form in a lot of cultures.
It is.
But it can be scary if you're not used to it.
Absolutely, especially because the rules are so different everywhere.
Exactly. And that's why the guide really goes deep into the cultural side of bargaining.
Okay.
It explains, when it's appropriate, how to do it politely,
Right.
and what phrases to use.
So it's not just about getting a good deal. It's
Yeah.
also about like respecting the local customs.
Exactly. And not accidentally being rude.
Yeah, for sure.
The guide really stresses that politeness is key, even when you're trying to get a lower price.
Makes sense.
So instead of saying like, that's too expensive,
Yeah.
you can try something like, is that your best price? Or, could you give me a discount if I buy more than one?
That's much better.
Yeah. I've definitely seen tourists like being super aggressive
Oh, yeah.
when they bargain, and it never works out well.
Never.
The guide actually tells this funny story
Oh, tell me.
about a tourist who was trying to haggle for a souvenir
Okay.
in a market in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like demanding a lower price.
Oh, no.
And the vendor was not budging.
Of course not.
But then another tourist came up,
Okay.
all smiles, and was like, is there any wiggle room on the price?
I love that.
And they got an amazing deal.
Wow. So it really is about being polite.
It really is.
Okay. So we've talked about browsing and asking for specific things and even bargaining.
Yeah.
But what about when you need to return something?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And the guide has some great advice on that.
Okay, good. Because sometimes I feel like I'm gonna mess it up.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it can be a bit awkward.
Uh-huh.
Especially, if you're worried about language barriers.
Right, or like different customs.
Exactly, but the guide is really reassuring.
Okay, good.
It says that like with the right phrases and a clear idea of like your rights as a customer,
Yeah.
you can totally handle returns with confidence.
That makes me feel better.
Good.
Because sometimes I just feel like I'm going to fumble through it.
I get it. I get it.
But I would love to have some like go-to phrases
Oh, yeah.
to make me sound more confident.
Well, this guide has tons of them.
Oh, perfect.
So like instead of just saying, I want to return this,
Right.
you could say, I'd like to return this item. It's not quite what I was looking for.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, or if it's like broken or something, you can say, I'm afraid this product is damaged. Could I get a refund or exchange?
Those are so good.
Right.
They sound polite, but also like, I mean, business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Totally. And then the guide also reminds us to like have a receipt ready.
Oh, right. Of course.
Any other like paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to check the store's return policy beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, just so you're not surprised.
Speaking of surprises, I once bought this dress online.
Uh-oh.
It looked amazing in the pictures.
Okay.
But when I got it, oh my God.
What happened?
The material was awful. The color was wrong.
Oh, no.
And it fit terribly.
That's the worst.
I had no idea how to return something internationally.
I bet.
But I somehow managed to figure it out.
With like Google Translate or something?
Pretty much.
It's amazing how resourceful we can be.
It's so true. It's true.
But that story really shows how important it is to be prepared.
Yeah.
And to know like what to do.
It was definitely a learning experience.
I bet. What about you? Have you ever had any like memorable return experiences?
I once bought these shoes in London
Okay.
that turned out to be the wrong size.
Oh, no.
And I went back to the store.
Yeah.
And the salesperson was so nice.
Okay.
They didn't even ask why I was returning them.
Wow.
Just apologized
Yeah.
and offered me a different size.
That's
It
awesome.
was a really positive experience. It makes me wonder, though, like, are there any cultural differences
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to customer service and returns?
Definitely. The guide actually talks about that a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says that in some cultures, customer service is very transactional,
Okay.
but in other cultures, it's more about building a relationship.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I can see how those differences would affect returns.
Totally. For example, I've heard that in some countries, haggling is normal,
Right.
even when you're returning something.
Yeah.
But in other places, that might be considered rude.
Exactly. So it's important to be aware of those local customs.
And adjust your approach.
Precisely. The guide encourages us to be like respectful, observant, and adaptable.
I like that.
And it reminds us that even if things don't go perfectly, it's all part of the learning process.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, takes the pressure off.
I also think it's important to remember that shopping in a different language is a great way to immerse yourself in the culture.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity to practice your skills, connect with locals,
Right.
and really get a deeper understanding of their way of life.
Feel like an adventure.
It is. You never know what you'll find.
Exactly who you'll meet, what you'll learn.
And sometimes those like unexpected encounters
Yeah.
are the best part of the trip.
They really are. I remember once getting lost in a market in Morocco,
Ooh, tell me about it.
and I stumbled upon this hidden tea shop,
Nice.
and I ended up having this incredible conversation with the owner.
Oh, wow.
He told me all about his life and the history of the city.
That's amazing.
It was such a special moment.
Sounds like it.
And it reminded me that shopping isn't just about buying stuff.
Right.
It's about connecting with people,
Uh-huh.
experiencing new cultures,
Yes.
and creating memories.
It's about the whole journey.
Exactly, with all its twists and turns.
So we covered a lot in this deep dive.
We have.
We've talked about practical phrases for browsing, asking for things, bargaining, and even handling those trippy returns.
And we've touched on the cultural side of shopping in a different language.
All right.
And how important it is to be respectful, adaptable, open to new experiences.
Exactly. And we've seen how shopping can actually be a way to immerse yourself in a culture.
Yes.
And to grow as a person.
And even have some unexpected adventures.
It's been a really interesting journey.
It has, but before we wrap things up, I want to highlight one key takeaway that really stuck with me.
I'm listening. Yeah, the guide really emphasizes the power of observation.
Uh-huh.
It encourages us to like pay attention to how locals interact,
Right?
how they approach shopping, what phrases they use.
It's like learning by osmosis.
Exactly. You pick up so much just by watching.
And it makes the whole experience so much more immersive.
It does.
Instead of just sticking to our like pre-planned phrases,
Right.
we're open to learning new expressions.
Yeah.
Understanding the nuances and adapting our communication style.
It's like turning shopping into a linguistic treasure hunt. We're not just looking for souvenirs, we're looking for those linguistic gems.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it adds so much color and depth.
And it reminds us that language learning isn't just about memorizing rules.
Right.
It's about actively using the language.
Exactly, in real-world situations.
And shopping is the perfect place for that.
It is. It's interactive. It's dynamic.
Yeah.
It forces you to think on your feet.
So for anyone listening who might be nervous about shopping in English, embrace the challenge.
Yes.
See it as a chance to grow your language skills, connect with new people, and discover those hidden cultural treasures.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect.
That's so true.
The goal is to communicate effectively and respectfully.
Exactly.
And you can do that even with a limited vocabulary.
And who knows, you might surprise yourself.
You might.
With how much you already know.
Right.
And how easily you can adapt.
And if you stumble or get tongue-tied,
it happens.
Just laugh it off.
Yeah, most people are understanding.
They appreciate the effort.
A smile and a sense of humor goes a long way.
It really does.
So the next time you're in a shopping situation, take a deep breath, remember the tips we've talked about.
Yeah.
And most importantly, have fun.
Have fun.
Treat it as an adventure.
An adventure.
A chance to explore, to learn to connect.
And who knows, you might walk away with a great story to tell.
You never know.
And a newfound confidence in your English.
That's it for our deep dive into English for shopping.
We hope you feel ready to tackle any retail situation.
From browsing those markets
to scoring deals online.
Remember, it's not just about the transactions.
It's about the connections.
The experiences.
And the memories.
So go out there, embrace the journey.
And happy shopping.
Happy shopping, everyone.